insane. All day dripping in black Saint. Pull up in the fat matte black range. I've been living my life in a fast lane. I'm a gangmate Spartan, come through dripping in black Saint garments. All black, everything blacked out, hoodie in a blacked out whip with blacked out doggies. I was the kid of the kids, couldn't play round, cause I've been badding up man since playground. I was an awkward boy, had money in my pocket but I dropped just to save pounds. Nowadays I'm looking for a crop I could take down. I'm looking for a divvy with a box in this Bay town. I refuse to stay broke off the out.
Sat here talking to you, there's only you and me talking. But behind you there is what I see and what I hear constantly. Even when I'm asleep, it shows itself in a different way.
So what's it saying to you?
To stop talking. It's literally... It's just there saying stop talking. You won't believe me. The people watching this won't believe me. It's as well as because it has psychotic tendencies.
What has psychotic tendencies?
The thing that I see just down to the pub for a drink. We were sat outside in the beer garden and there was 6 other pairs of women there on 3 individual benches, but I'm seeing 12 people because 6 of them are there having their meals, having their drinks, having their laughs. 6 of them are laid on the floor, injured, mutilated, and deceased.
Welcome back to season 2 of the Paul Stansby podcast. Today we're going to be talking mental health with Kevin, aka Reaper. What's it like hearing your name being called Kevin?
Fucking weird.
Being a biker and all that lot is... I remember when I heard that name for the first time and I was like, you're not a Kevin.
Yeah, so it's fucking showing you my driver's license.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that. Right, man, so today we've been talking for a long time about mental health and where you are with it and what direction you need to go with it and how you have been on some journey with the doctors and psychiatrists and things like this to try and get your diagnosis. Before we start talking about the process of the diagnosis and where you are with it today, let's go back to the beginning and see whereabouts we are with it, and hopefully your story would be able to help others find direction with what they're going through as well. You know, some people might link with you. So let's go. Can you remember, like, even back from childhood, a happy time?
It's a struggle, but most of it is with my grandparents. There's not a lot of, well, I can't actually, hard way to put it, but I can't actually remember good times with, at a young age, with parents, with my friends, with my half brother. It's all, no matter how hard I try to remember it all, and even looking at old photos, it's in my mind, it's blank. There's nothing there. It's just almost like a wall that my mind has put up that I just can't break through.
What is it you're trying to break through? I know you're saying a wall, but what is it that that's traumatized you so much that's allowed you to put the wall up for starters, but stopping you from breaking that wall down? Is there a significant event that is caused this? I don't want to put words in your mouth, you know. I kind of want you to.
There's literally there is nothing that I can think of or put my hand on that is the thing that kicked it all off and put everything up in place. But I mean, even sat here talking to you now, trying to sit there and think of being back in preschool, primary school, there's nothing there.
Because I know from what we've spoken about in the past that your education has been quite of a high standard. You were private school, and which made me like laugh my head off when you come in all your bike gear and looking very like.
It does make a lot of people laugh when I go. I was actually prim and proper, blazer, tie.
How was you at school?
Very quiet. Sort of had one or two friends, kept myself to myself, kind of even from a young age. And
almost felt like you didn't belong.
Yeah, never really fit in anywhere. Almost had to do the whole I'll like what they like so that they like me kind of thing.
I think a lot of people do go through that in school though. I'm telling you, a lot of people that I went to school with when I was attending school that I would, as an adult now, like they are probably really nice people, and I'm not taking that away from them. But at school, there was some dicks, and I'm not saying that I wasn't a dick, but I think everybody can relate to that, like doing things that you wouldn't normally do just to fit in, to make sure. I'm just trying to build a map of like, you know, obviously I'm not qualified to diagnose you, but
I mean, even because as a young kid, and obviously now having my own daughter, it's like you try and make so that they have safe spaces, so that if they've hurt themselves, if they're upset, whatever, they've got somewhere that they can go to be happy.
How do you mean?
Like kind of like where
safe room.
Yeah.
Like a safe space, what they have at school.
Yeah, what they have at school now.
I don't even know if that works though, man. Like we're such a woke world now where everything is so sensitive and, you know, just so soft, you know, that I think, you know, like go to your parents, go talk. If it's not your parents, find someone that will listen to you. But sitting in a room and just being like, you can cry in here. If you'd like a cuddle, there is a teddy over there. Do you know, like, yeah, and it's kind of like if you're being naughty, would you like to go to the 1-to-1 room? And it's like, well, fuck yeah, man. There's toys in there and everything. Like, I'll get lollies. I'll get like, yeah, of course I want to go there. Why would I want to sit in glass?
I mean, yeah, I remember kind of like primary school. If you were naughty, you stood outside the head teacher's office going, please don't come out.
I remember them making me count the bricks on the wall for a Mars bar, and there was no Mars bar at the end of it. Like, come on. Like, You're almost setting kids up to fail. Listen, I'm not saying that the old ways are the best ways, but the best people are taught from the old ways.
Yeah.
Do you understand? This new generation, and I'm not cutting anybody off, but this new generation are so quick to do stupid things because they haven't got that strict in them.
No, I mean, you can't say boo to anyone in case that upsets them.
Well, in case you get stabbed or anything,
But,
this is what I'm saying with the woke world. But let's not get off track on this mental health side.
I suppose all I remember from my childhood up till from all the way back from, I mean, the earliest I can remember is from 4 years old. And then from sort of 4 years old all the way up till year 9 at school. So what are you then? 14, 15?
Number dysplasia, bro. I wouldn't know if you told me to count it on my toes.
Yeah, so you'd be about 14 then. I was bullied the entire time. All the way through that time at school. And then I'd come home and my half brother used to live with us as well, and he'd bully me. So literally, I'd go to school crying because I was being bullied and no one was listening to me, and no one was stopping the bullies doing anything. I mean, I can't even remember my parents getting involved to talk to the school to look, my kid's being bullied kind of thing. And then, so I'd spend all day at school worrying about going to lunch, going to break times, because I was being bullied. And then I'd come home and it would start all over again.
And it's supposed to be your safe place.
Yeah. And
why did your stepbrother, why did he bully you? For similar reasons to what the kids at school did?
The kids at school, it was always because of my size. I mean, short, fat, didn't really have any muscle mass or anything to me like then. And it was more, I mean, at my heaviest, I think I was like 22 stone, so like under 10. And then, so they'd bully me for that. So that'd be more verbal or throwing things at me kind of thing. And then you'd get to come home and with my half brother it'd be mental abuse and physical. So he'd hit me. I mean, I remember once he pinned me down and tried to put a fag out on my eye, and it's only because I turned my head at the last minute that he didn't get my eye and got right beside it kind of thing. And that, I think that was more because it was same dad, different mum, and then it was out of spite kind of thing. So like
jealousy?
Yeah. I'm the new kid on the block, all the attention has been taken away from him kind of thing. But no matter, I mean, I can't remember whether it's because of that mental block that my head put in place or whatever, or something, or whether it never actually happened, but I never remember him getting told off for bullying me and beating me and saying that I'm worthless, I was never wanted. And
Was you a planned birth, or was you?
I don't know.
What parents call an accident.
Yeah, a happy accident. Yeah, right.
Is that what you was labelled as by your parents? A happy accident?
I don't know.
Oh.
I can't remember them. I can't remember them ever saying I was a happy accident or I was planned or.
Was your parents affectionate? Did you get like well done for that, son? Did you get I don't know, I love you? Did you get a kiss goodnight? Did you get a kiss good morning? Like, did you get bedtime stories? I just
never remember it off my dad. Even up till when I never remember anything like that off my dad. Even up till I was 16, when he kind of disowned me, but we'll get into that. I remember getting hugs off my mum. She might have given me kisses goodnight. I don't know. I can't. No matter how much I sit down and try and work it out. Try and remember it. I can't. It's literally just like hitting a brick wall all the time. But then you go to Nan and Granddad. I remember it all. I remember my granddad telling me that he's proud of me, sitting me down with after school when I'd go around there on a Tuesday and a Friday. We'd sit down and draw. We'd sit and watch Countdown, Ready Steady Cook, all things like that. And my nan had horses and guinea pigs and rabbits at the time. It'd always be, oh, thanks for helping me. And like I say, I can remember that all the way back till I was about 4 years old. But when it comes to my mum and dad, I don't remember.
Would you have preferred that attention off your dad and not your granddad?
In reality, yes, because I did spend more time with my dad, because obviously I lived with my dad, but he was more interested in other things and more interested in my brother, and not really bothered about what I was doing, because I wasn't into cars and stuff like that.
Cheers, thank you.
Because he was car mechanic and worked up Foxwell Stadium and that, and wasn't really fussed about me because I didn't follow in what he liked.
And your mum?
It would have been nice to have it off both of them, but I can't. Like, even now, trying to sit here and think about it's giving me a headache. Trying to scratch at that wall, kind of thing. So that mental block is just.
Are you ready to knock the walls down? Because every time you go into talk about thoughts and feelings, and you're in a position to be able to sort of work out where this comes from, you revert to walls a lot. Like, you kind of put them up to stop you from knocking them down, for you maybe not wanting to face the reality of where this all started?
It would be nice to know. It would be nice to know where the voice and visual hallucinations all started and came from, so that I can put it down, deal with it, and then move on and concentrate on my family. Where no matter how much I've tried with psychiatrist therapy, other than trying hypnotherapy.
So you say voices and...
I see things. Well, I see it.
What, talk me through this voice scenario.
Well, I suppose the best way I can explain it is sat here talking to you. There's only you and me talking, but behind you there is what I see and what I hear constantly. Even when I'm asleep, it shows itself in a different way, which is where I've had what they call night hag or night terrors, but I'll be asleep. Well, I say asleep. I'll be laid in the bed, paralysed, can't move, can't shout out, cry or anything. All I can do is make murmurs, kind of thing, to try and wake myself back up. Or my partner, she'll wake me up, or I've even had my dog try and wake me up before, because I'm literally laid in bed, paralysed, but I can see and hear and this and the other, but I can't do anything, and I'm just crying out, almost like what a puppy does, where it's whimpering and crying, because I'm seeing something. Seeing something coming for me and hearing it cry, hearing it screaming, and it looks. Imagine like an old lady, all frail and skin's all sort of sunken in. Long black hair, same again, kind of skeletal face, but because the skin's sunken in as you get old, and she's just dragging herself along, dragging herself up the stairs. There's no bottom half, because that's always like shadowed, but I see that coming for me, and the only thing I can do to try and it's never got me. It's touched my feet, it's got to the side of the bed, and it's just literally like paralysing. You're just laid there as if you've been knocked out through local anaesthetic or something like that. And this thing's coming for you, and all you can do is make whimpering noises or crying noises to try and wake yourself out wake yourself up out of it, and that's what I get at night. But during the day, it's this hooded dark figure that I see all the time,
and that's what's here.
Yeah, that's there. That's
fuck off.
It's there, and even though we're talking, I can hear it.
So what's it saying to you?
To stop talking. It's literally. It's just there saying stop talking. You won't believe me. The people watching this won't believe me. It's because it's something that others aren't seeing and aren't hearing. It's like you're not going to be believed. You've never been believed.
I remember, and I'm not trying to take this away from you because obviously I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. So I remember when I was first diagnosed with this, but it took a long time before it started to become what it was. Yeah. So I can relate to people not believing what it is that what's going on with you. Thankfully, I have been diagnosed schizoid personality disorder. And do you know what it is? It's been my worst enemy, but it's been my best friend at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, like when I say it's been my best friend, that's because when I need fight mode, or I need something that's it's there.
Yeah, it's that when you need someone to talk to just listen to you.
Yeah, I'm, it's not like the talk to thing. It's not. I argue with what I got going, and there's no conversation. It's just arguments. But
I've been sat up in the middle of the night arguing with it, and I've had ex-girlfriends and stuff literally freak out because we've been obviously gone to bed, whatever, and then they'll tell me in the morning that I had to get out of the room because you were sat at the end of the bed arguing with nothing. But to me, it's like it.
So in the night, she's got out of bed because you're at the end of the bed arguing.
Yeah.
And you didn't know until the morning that she had gone.
I didn't know till the morning that I was arguing.
So this is being done whilst you're asleep. Like sleepwalking. Sleep talking, kind of like that.
But it's that, like you say, with when you've needed it, with that instinct of fight or flight mechanism, it's
kind of. I wish it was like. I wish I could explain it where, like a magic, like a superpower, where like fight or flight. This happens. It's kind of it will. I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to have a fight and then I bring fight mode on. Like it's not like that. Or if I'm feeling sad, I can summons Mr. Happy. Do you know what I mean? And I can be happy. It's like it will come and go as and when it wants, depending on the mood that I'm in or how my day is going. I have no control over. Like you see the film Glass, you see the film Split, and like I wish it was like that. Where someone goes, "Can I speak to?" and it's like, "Oh yeah, here I am." Do you know?
Yeah,
it's not, and you know, as close to that as you can get it. Yeah, it's not like that for me. No. For somebody else, it may be, but for me, mine is more traumatic in a sense where, like, I can't just summon something. It's when it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's okay.
It's livable.
It's okay. That's all. Like you say, Liverpool. I'm going to live whether I'm bad or I'm good. But for me, when it comes, when it's bad, it's bad, and when it's good, it's okay. Like I'm okay, and I can live on okay. I can be happy on okay. I can manage what I've got on okay. But I've had to break down a lot of these walls to find out that, okay, I've had to understand there is something come out with me and I have to face this. And because I'm facing it, I'm loving myself more. And the more I love myself, the more kind of control I have over my triggers. Okay. But for you, I'm getting the sense where a lot of your stuff is happening to you whilst you're asleep. Your mental health has come from trauma.
Yeah.
And your trauma, I believe, from what we've just spoke about, and remember, I'm not professional, okay? I've not got the degree on this, but I have experience on this. Not similar. I do think what we've got is very different. But I've got experience in being nuts. Yeah. As if we can put that word out there, right? And I feel a lot of your depression and your down time is been from loneliness. And I think that might have been where it all started. And you might not, because you can't remember when it started, is because maybe you've always felt alone.
Yeah, I mean, the earliest memories I've got of whatever it is being there was when I was about 4 or 5, playing on the floor in the living room. Because it's like I'm there playing with whatever, and it's like sat there on the chair just watching me play, and then the bit that's weird is it never scared me. It was always just there as like almost like someone watching over me, just making sure I'm not going to get hurt, not going to do anything I shouldn't be doing at that young of an age. And then as I've gotten older and gone through life, it's gotten from being sort of someone sat there watching over me, it'll come, it'll go, to sometimes it weren't even there, to now it's a constant. And back then it never used to say anything. It would just sit there quietly watching me. When now it will go from it's constantly there, and it will go from just whispering, constant like whisper, to shouting.
When it turned up, it just turned up. I'm just assuming that it's been there from 5. So, like, what did it do? Like, you was just in a room one day, and it was just like, are you right?
I can't remember whether it. That's the thing. I can't remember whether it did just turn up one day or it developed from something. But it went from being I'm playing on the floor with my train set or my cars or whatever, to it's not there anymore. Oh, he's back today. To it is constantly there, no matter whether I'm happy, having a great day out with my family, or if I'm having a really shit day, getting pissed off and this, that and the other. It's always there. It never goes away.
Has it got a name?
No, not that. I've never given it one because it almost seemed like it made it too real, and that once I've named it I wouldn't be able to get rid of it, where now it feels it would be nice to get rid of it, but then with getting rid of it, am I losing a part of myself in getting rid of that?
It's almost like you have been alone, been bullied, physically and mentally. You've shut off all of your past, good and bad, because you can't really remember the last time, only one occasion, and that's to do with your grandparents. And you've kind of created, and we have spoke about this, a imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Just.
Well, that's what I used to call it when I was younger.
Okay.
That was my imaginary friend.
Okay.
And it never went away.
Right. So that's exactly what I'm on about. So it feels like to me, through your loneliness, you've created a character that has always been old and gaunt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've created a character kind of based on a visual of maybe your mum. You know, because you're saying like frail and stuff. It's kind of obviously I know your mum and she look a little bit frail and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That's the both what I see during the day and like the night hag are both like old and frail, whereas the night hag I'd kind of, I suppose, relate it to, you can imagine basically a more frailer version of the girl out of the ring climbing out the TV.
Yeah.
That's what I see sort of coming after me at night, but she's pulling herself along with her hands. And then during the day, it's recently to my psychiatrist, I've described it as, because it's something, nowadays, something everyone's seen, like the ring wraiths out of Lord of the Rings, the like hooded knights, dark hooded knights.
Yes, yeah.
But then put Gandalf's beard. But then it's like all I can see is from there down.
And this is kind of like the character that you've seen from 5 years old.
Mm-hmm. And sort of from that 4 or 5 year old, where would I have seen them images?
This is exactly what I was thinking, because it's almost like Hollywood's got hold of you and asked if they can borrow your imaginary friend for a minute to create a award-winning film like The Grudge, and Lord of the Rings cast has said, we need someone to thingy. Surely someone else has an imaginary friend out there that could tell us how to create this. Or your early memories of creating this friend or this person being there. Sorry, I keep referring to it as your imaginary friend, but that's what I've been addressed as with mine for years, yeah? And you know, there's probably a lot of kids out there that have just been that have had this, yeah, as a real. I'm not saying yours is not real, and they've just turned around and said, "Oh, he had an imaginary friend when they're growing up," but really they actually had mental health and they were seeing these schizophrenia, right? So please don't believe I'm patronising you, or I don't want people to think that I'm just saying you're imagining friends. So I'm just going with
it's something everyone can relate to by calling it an imaginary friend.
I think that's as close to getting some people to be able to be like, oh, imaginary friend. Yeah, I had one of them when I was younger. But it's like almost like you have, as you've gone along the way, it's changed its form to be able to either work with what you've seen, as in you've had it in your imagination, or it looks a little bit like that, it moves like that, that's like this, you know what I mean? And it's kind of almost adapted, almost like World of Warcraft. Do you know what I mean? Kind of that kind of thing. That's what it sounds like when you're saying it. It's kind of like almost like a character from World of Warcraft, or like the film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a little bit of Lord of the Rings and the Grudge. I mean, I don't even know how old the Grudge film is. Jamie, can you just Google quickly how old the Grudge film is?
That would have been 90. Well,
original or new?
The original.
Well, that would have been 1996, 95.
How old would you have been?
4 or 5.
So this is what I'm saying. Yeah, you around the time that this Grudge character has entered your life is the time that the film was there.
Oh, I don't know whether the film. That's the year that I would have been 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know whether the film came out then or not.
Not 2004.
Wow. So that's nearly 10 years before the film came out.
Is that the original?
That's the original UK or English version, but there was a Japanese
there's a Japanese version that was before that, and it was banned. I think it might have been 80s, possibly 80s. But you're a 90s child, are you? Yeah. How old are you now?
32.
2002.
What, the original Japanese one was 2002? How old would that have made you?
10.
Still 10 years. You still would have been 10. That's what I'm saying, because to be able to relate to a character like that, it's almost like something that's been like visually seen already. So the character might have adapted throughout the years throughout these, because from seeing a gaunt woman with no legs, because on the Grudge you see legs on the Grudge, and you see that. So the seeing the no legs part, was that always a thing, or was that was always a thing? Yeah. So do you remember like the first thing that it ever said to you?
Would it? Would have been sort of along line, sort of like, I'm here for you, here to help you. Because it, as like I say, when I was younger, I just thought, oh, it's a protector or someone where, like nowadays, you'd say put them on a pedestal, because when I was younger, I thought they were here to protect me. They were here to look after me, because for whatever reason I needed someone to look after me. But then
From 5.
But then, as I've gotten older, it's swapped from, well, not swapped, it slowly changed to look after me, to you're worthless, you're not going to amount to anything, you don't deserve X, Y, Z in your life, you don't deserve what you've achieved, and things like that. And I mean,
do you think that's the voice telling you, or do you think that's what you believe because you never got that? So you're telling yourself that you are worthless and that you're not worth anything, and you're allowing yourself to.
It would tell me that, and it tells me that sort of daily, as if you're telling me that. If that makes sense. It's gone.
No, I get. Oh yeah, I totally get it.
It's as if, say, you follow me around for the day, and the whole day you're saying to me, you're not going to amount to anything.
So are you visually seeing this person the whole time telling you, like, like outside your head?
Yeah, it's not in my head. As far as I have to stop myself and go, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. But I see it, and as clear as day as I'm seeing you now.
Here.
Yep. And it's talking to me clear as day as you are now. But I'm having to literally go, it's all in my head. It's all in my head. It's all something my head has made up through, like you say, trauma, chemical imbalance, whatever doctors call it.
They've tested you for a chemical imbalance.
No, but nowadays they call, like,
oh right, okay,
it's all
yeah,
chemical imbalance. That's why we need to put you on these tablets. And
so you said you literally just said that the character that you've had there is like that. You said that you've made up.
My head has made it up to. When I was younger, I thought I made it up to protect myself. So I could protect myself from my brother or the bullies at school, that kind of thing. But then it's then turned into almost emotionally abusing me daily. But it's my own head that's telling me these things. And then I have to stop myself to say to it, you're all in my head. You are just in my head. And it's where you say about, like, your diagnosis of schizophrenia and stuff, speaking to, because as you know, it's very hard to get taken seriously with it when seeing psychiatrists and doctors and things like that. And the reason they reckon it, or the reason my psychiatrist reckons it isn't schizophrenia, is because I know it's not real. That's why she's putting it down as
Emotional detachment disorder.
Yes. But then the other issue I have with that is they gave me a diagnosis in 2021 of EDD, which is the
Emotional detachment disorder.
Yeah, I can't. I need to get my partner to tell me why someone feels the way they do. Because I can't work out why they're feeling that way. Where the voice and the visual hallucinations they put down to emotionally unstable borderline personality disorder. Because I know it's not real. That's why they're saying it's not schizophrenia.
Well, emotional. Say that again.
Emotionally unstable borderline personality disorder.
Well, you're on the fringe. If it's that, you're on the fringe of a diagnosis. But
I mean, I've got the paperwork in my bag that says it.
I don't disbelieve you whatsoever that they are looking into that. I don't disbelieve you at all. And I'm not here to discredit you. Believe me,
I know that.
I just, I'm just trying to think of questions that the public would have told me to ask you. Do you know what I mean? So, like having that disorder on top of the emotional detachment disorder, which brings me to why I said about the hugs, the kisses, the achievement props, the are you a good boy and all that lot. And because you may have felt like you didn't get the love you deserved. That's why you have detachment in with your emotions. But then it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in some ways because you're able to know what love feels like to your missus and your daughter.
But that's where the bit that also that really did change me and that made me want to get a actual diagnosis and proper help was when my daughter was born. It was, I mean, it's probably going to sound really harsh, and I don't mean it in this way. With my partner and her daughter, yes, I love them, and I would do anything to help them and keep them safe. But I didn't think I needed to work on myself to do that.
Everybody needs to work on themselves. Whether it's just to love someone or connect with them in a way where you would feel the benefits from that, of course you'd need to love yourself, because how would you expect anyone to love you if you don't love you? So how are you supposed to breed positive if you're not positive? How are you supposed to, not have a bad relationship if you're always being bad? It's kind of one of them. You reap what you sow, and if you want a good life, you have to put your good life in and pray that it comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah. But I mean, when my daughter was born, it was almost like someone flicked the switch and went, you do need to look after yourself to be the best dad, partner, provider for the family that I've now built. And that seems kind of bad because it took her to do that where it should have taken being with my partner and a stepdaughter. But I don't know why it didn't click or didn't register until she was born. But then also it was hard because if it was hard because it was telling me I wasn't going to get her because I'd lost 3 prior children through miscarriage and things like that. It was all the way through the pregnancy. It was just telling me, you're going to lose her. You're going to lose her. You're going to lose her.
Of course, you'd live in fear if you've lost 3 previous. It's that's like a normal emotion, and this is like a real crazy thing, because like you have emotional detachment disorder from your past, yeah, where you fail to be able to have remorse, sympathy, respect, love. Happy memories, bad memories are more of the focus than the happy memories. But in your life, yeah, you are able to have empathy for your daughter and your girlfriend, fiance, and you are able to love, and you are able to connect, and you are able to see a workforce to permit a positive lifestyle for your daughter and daughters and your future wife, you know. So I feel like that because there's no negative gone on there, you're able to feel love, which means you can connect. So what I'm saying is, for you to be able to deal with your past, you have to take the walls down, because you have empathy, you have emotional attachment to what has been positive in your life. So you have them feelings there. So I think that what you need to do is work on your past. And then once you've dealt with this, you can start loving yourself, because you're no longer the fat kid with, you know, that's like 22 stone and being bullied by, like, you're holding on to that emotion because you won't let it go. Because it causes you pain still today. Yeah, and you can see that. And with that, you have created a character. You have created a sound which comes with words, like a voice for the person. No name, because you know it's not staying.
I mean, one of the bits that I did find kind of is because it is constantly there. It is very weird to be able to be out having not having like a nice family day out and things like that, because it is with me going, this won't last, this won't stay, this will end, as well as because it has psychotic tendencies.
What has psychotic tendencies?
The thing that I see, because it will be like, good example was a couple of weeks ago, me and my partner went out just down to the pub for a drink. We were sat outside in the beer garden, and there was 6 other pairs of women there on 3 individual benches, but I'm seeing 12 people, because 6 of them are there having their meals, having their drinks, having their laughs. 6 of them are laid on the floor, injured, mutilated. and deceased, which is where my psychiatrist wants to delve deeper into why is it showing me that kind of thing when these people are complete strangers to me that I've never met, which is where she wants to work out the trauma. Is it then me trying to put the trauma onto others?
Public anxiety is something you'll find a lot of people do have more and not realise. Yeah, you'll find yourself struggling to breathe, almost feeling like you've had a heart attack, almost feeling like your palms are sweaty, you break out in a sweat, you're alert, you're just looking everywhere, you're really anxious, and you know, you might not even realize it. Yeah, but it also comes with I feel like I'm being judged, and because I feel like I'm being judged, I will annihilate everyone here before they then pick on me again.
Yeah.
So maybe that you are thinking fast in an anxious state, and you can see people are having fun around you and paying you no bother, but your uncomfortable scenario is causing you to think extreme thoughts. So you would deal with it being like, I'd rather be here alone, and then you're drifting off rather than focusing on what's in front of you, and that's that can allow you to, almost like a video game. You know, you're playing two worlds in one, and it's again, World of Warcraft. Yeah, and I know I keep going back to that, but you've got realms, right, where in your ideal realm you'd have peace, tranquility, you'd be almost invisible, but because you're not, and you stand out like I stand out, you are trying to make yourself invisible, and the only way that you can do that is by killing everybody that's around you so they can't see you, because you want to be alone.
It is. It is the almost wanting to be alone, but being on, like in that scenario, we were talking, having a laugh, having our drinks, not worrying about what was around us, just enjoying our time there. But then it is almost like you say, it's that anxiety, being on high alert, because I was noticing little things about what they were doing, even though they were nothing to do with me. Why was I paying attention? But I didn't realise I was doing it until I sort of stopped, and then it's getting stronger again. It's shouting at me, going, you could do this, you could do that. Like the whole like break the glass that they've got on the table and just use that as to be able to slit their throats. And
when you're coming into play and you're thinking about violence, like slitting your throat and things like that, Do any of the people that have bullied you in the past come into play in this?
No.
Do any of the thoughts from that point come into play in this? Like, do you go back to thinking of your revenge spurring from the moments you were bullied? No one's going to do it anymore.
It probably is a kind of a like revenge thing, as it were. But I mean, I don't talk to anyone out of my past anymore. I don't know.
No, they already own a space in your head. They're renting. Yeah. They got space there rent free. You know, so all I'm trying to do is help you understand, so we can start working on breaking down these barriers to help you pursue a more happier lifestyle. And the attachment disorder, I understand from your past, but I feel like it's because you haven't managed the pain from your past, and it's formed you to be, you know, Reaper, the biker dude that is, you've built yourself to be weird, feared, and respected just from a visual, so you don't have to speak to people because then they can't hurt you, and you don't have to be that weak person anymore because you come with a stance, right? So, like me, I completely got covered in tattoos to keep the person who mentally abused me, away. Yeah, and everybody else I wanted to keep away. You know, if I think about it, it's the most stupid thing I could have ever done. But given what we do now within our charity and stuff, it helps. The way I look helps me approach people now, because I've managed what my triggers and stuff are. So you being in a public place, especially a place where you don't know how the outcome would be, a pub, putting alcohol in that.
So I mean, I've done it when we've been out places, kind of thing. It's like when we do like all of us like would get together for the Christmas meal or stuff like at Rio's and that. As soon as I'd notice one person was drunk, that's it. It would hyper focus on that, and it would be stood beside whoever was drunk.
Like it is to me now.
Yeah. But it would be I suppose the best way I can describe it is, you know, when you're out and you know someone's drunk and pissed, and you notice the bouncer or the door person start focusing on them because they're waiting to see whether something happens and they need to get involved to escort them out. It's almost like it does that, as to draw my attention to that person. And it's that person could be no threat to me, no threat to whoever I'm out with, but that figure would stand beside it.
What's it saying to you now?
That I should just leave, to stop talking. That you're asking too many questions.
Why do you think, like, your character is telling you to stop talking to me? And what is the problem with the questions? Are you afraid to say goodbye to it in case you feel alone again?
I suppose kind of, in a way, but then I also remember whenever I was sad or upset, I always wanted my animals. I didn't want human affection. I mean, I remember once.
Is it there when you're around your animals?
Mm.
So what's it saying to you when you're with your animals?
But you know what I do keep, and it's to just let it go. Let it go over the fence.
But isn't that your love for animals for you to want to set it free?
It is, but with all of my animals are dangerous. The cobras, the big pythons.
Let them go for destruction.
Mm-hmm.
If your animals got out, I'm not going to stand on a roof far, far, far in the sky, because they are some serious animals.
Like you saw when you came around how one was trying to get to you.
That was one of the vipers, yeah. So the viper, that was a viper, wasn't it?
Cobra.
Cobra, that was it, yeah.
And now you imagine, because of where I live, it's all old age pensioners and retired people.
But I think that's your hatred as well for, like, your neighbours and your, dare I say, mum.
Mm.
You know, and let's go on to this, yeah. This relationship you have with your mum, only child.
Mm.
You have got it pretty cushy, as an outsider would look in. You've got a garage that's big enough to live in, like it's like a small bungalow, your garage, and it's yours. Like she's given you that. So you've got your workshop, you've got a driveway that can hold like 20 cars.
Yeah.
And in the back garden, there is another house in the garden that you could raise a family in.
Mm-hmm.
Full of venomous snakes and like turtles that can bite your head off with one bite, and
Giant pythons. And
giant pythons that is just something I've only seen on Harry Potter. Like you've that's all you. Like you've been given that. And eventually that house is probably worth well over £500,000.
So right now, he's saying, I don't deserve any of that. That what I've
Well,
built.
I think a lot of people would say you don't deserve it after you're the only child and you hate your mum and she's going to be leaving you all that stuff. Like, you know, is it like, do you really feel like you don't deserve it? And if you do you feel like that you don't deserve it because you know that you don't like your mum?
So I don't know to saying like I don't deserve it through the proving myself to like the local authorities that I know what I'm doing when it comes to keeping these dangerous animals. I don't deserve it with teaching myself how to weld and cut material, and now putting myself through college to get the qualifications in metalwork. I don't. Why should I get that? It's like someone else better deserves all that.
You were the only bloodline, mate. It's your God-given right to have, I guess, by state of law, unless they say otherwise. It's like a natural pass down, isn't it? Like a lordship, your last name. It's your birthright, you know, to be able to get what your parents have created for you. But where does the hate come from?
I suppose if you go, I suppose the easiest way to describe it is split it into sections.
Yeah.
If you go from 11, well, from being born to 11 years old, mum and dad were together. 11 till 16, mum and dad got divorced. Mum left me with my dad. And then from 16 till April 2021, which is when my daughter was born. And then from then till now, I see them as different parts in one, different sections. Because from being born till I was 11 when they got divorced, all that time, I can only visually see and remember good times with my grandparents. Even though we went to Australia, went on holiday. Okay, they were only caravan holidays, but we went on 2 or 3 holidays for a week a year. I can remember going to these places. I can remember going to Australia. That was probably, of my young life, that month we spent in Australia was probably one of the best months of my life. But I don't remember my parents being there. I can see my other family that live over there. I can see them. But I can't see my parents. And even when I look at photos of all 3 of us over there, I can't remember that day. But I can remember a hell of a lot of being in Australia. But I can't remember that day.
Having that memory in Australia has obviously led to you as an adult wanting to retrieve that memory because you're wanting to move over to Australia and you want to get married in Australia because that seems to be a place you felt most safe or most like a family. And I guess you've attached yourself to your grandparents as your happy space. I think your hatred towards your biological parents is abandonment. When you needed them the most, they left because, as much as I don't want to say because they were selfish and they cared about themselves and gone, I don't want to say that because
I'm happy to say that, because from 11 till 6 weeks before I was 17, Mum left. Divorce papers were on the door Christmas time that year. We spent Christmas Eve of the year I was 11, me and my dad down police station when it was still in town. He was in the cell for 8 hours. I was just left in the reception area, being able to walk in and out kind of thing.
Because of your mum?
Yeah.
Your dad was locked up in the cells for 8 hours because of your mum?
Because of my mum. But then to later find out my dad tried to rape my mum when she came back for her things, like clothes and other bits, when she came back to the house. He tried to, force himself on her while I was downstairs crying, because my mum's walked in, got her stuff, it's all been packed in a van while I'm there. And then after she came back to get her stuff, didn't saw her around, because obviously she still lived in Ipswich, so I see her in the car every now and again driving past, whatever, but never saw her, so never actually sat down and saw her and talked to her until sort of towards the end of 2008, because she wasn't in at the beginning, because apparently she wasn't in a right state of mind to see me, talk to me, and then people were telling her to stay away, leave him be, even though my real dad, or my dad, was mentally abusive. Same again, he'd say, remember a couple of occasions he said, didn't really want you, kind of thing. She kept getting told, stay away, don't see him, leave him be, kind of thing. Whereas my dad would say, oh, she was a drug dealer, drug user, prostitute. My now stepdad was a paedophile, and that's all I had for
your mum said that your new stepdad is a paedophile?
No, my dad said that he was.
And is he?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up, because if anyone sees you with him, I don't want people to think, and then he get targeted for that.
It was feeding me lies.
Of course.
To not try and get in contact with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still went and saw my nan and granddad, which were her mum and dad.
Okay.
And it was feeding me lies and tainting my opinion so that I wouldn't get in contact. But now, being in that parental position, through having a stepdaughter and my own daughter, no matter, there's nothing anyone can do to stop me seeing my daughter. I don't care who you are, I will see my daughter. Why didn't my mum have the same mentality? It's like, surely your child's seeing your child and making sure your child is safe should be the first priority of any parent.
Well, no child is asked to be here. We're put here.
Good point.
We're not asked to be here. Neither of us was asked to be here. It was a choice from our parents to bring us into this world. Sometimes it's not. It's an accident, which takes us back to that first part.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's their job until we get to a certain age to then repay that back and look after them.
Yeah.
And that's what life should be. In the process of this, you need to be able to teach, love, and learn. So I feel like they have given you the correct diagnosis. I feel because I feel that your biggest problem that you have is you've never felt love, so you don't feel like you deserve love. I feel like that you do have detachment disorder with your emotions from your past. You have emotions in your here and now, and you will have for the future within your future wife and your daughters, right? I can't continue unless you...
Yeah, there's plenty to shut up.
Because you don't want to hear it?
Honestly, I don't know. Because it feels like a separate person to me. I know it's a part of me, but it feels like a separate part of me. So I do need to try somehow, whichever way, to try and get through the bits of the past. But so far, through different talking therapies, what's it called? CBT?
The oils? The vapes?
No, the cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yeah.
And now through seeing the psychiatrist to, like you say, get through them walls. But it's like you say, if getting rid of that, is that going to get rid of part of me?
Again, abandonment issues. You have got emotional attachment disorder from your past, not your future or your here and now. Still in the presence of your family, as in your future wife and children, you are here and now. Yeah. But you are allowing your past to dictate your future. Right? With that, you are refusing to take down walls to help you manage your feelings from your past, because you don't have to take them into the future. And because of that, you have created a character, which you've said you've created a character, your words, that has helped you in ways to be able to manage your here and now. And because it's been there for so long that you have grown attached to believing that you have more than... Go on, what?
It's almost like a need for it.
I feel like it's your excuse not to revisit. I feel like as long as you allow that to be within your imagination, because if you thought it, you can drop it. Yeah. And because you've allowed it to be a part of your imagination, you're almost telling yourself through this character to not revisit your past because you maybe don't feel your worth, or you don't feel like you want to revisit in case it opens up more wounds. But if you do not deal with the trauma, you're never going to forgive. You're never going to forget. Yeah. Unless religion plays a part in this, right? Because like thou shalt forgive for, you know, that stuff. Yeah. So you're never going to forgive and you're never going to forget. Yeah.
See, that's what you say about the religion part of it is quite interesting, because my early education was done through heavily Christian schools. Not like now where it's like we can't really say we're Christian because of Islamic, Jew. We don't want to offend anyone. The whole, going back to the whole woke culture kind of thing. These were my preschool and primary school were heavily Christian schools. So it was sing hymns out of the Bible. We would be given Bibles to take home to read as and when we felt we needed. And it's just it's very interesting to hear you say about the religion when thinking back to it, growing up in heavily religious schools, as well as having, I mean, one of my neighbours, she was heavily Catholic when I was growing up, to now being more the other end of Christianity, where it's more the
satanic.
Yeah. Because it is very dark. It is.
What are your thoughts? Or the loneliness is very dark? Because I feel like when I made the thing on religion, it was based upon, you know, forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what religion is, based upon forgiveness and you know. So you would need to, basically, you'd need to forgive to be able to move on with your life, right? Mm. Say someone hurts your family or anything like that. For you to be able to get past the anger, you have to forgive. That's religion, right? Mm. Yeah. Or those sins will be upon you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and because of that, you maybe have turned your back on everything good. If religion is for you, religion's good, right? So you've turned your back on everything good and replaced it with satanic thoughts.
Yeah, because I mean, I want you to obviously redo this arm in a very dark, demonic sleeve.
Is this more imagery to keep people away or to make people fear you so they don't have to crack the pavement with you and try and get into your head to help you? Because I feel like maybe that you refuse to visit your past because you've now very comfortable within your satanic thoughts and this character that you refer to and telling you negative things because maybe you don't feel your own worth. And if you have something putting you down, you have something to blame instead of yourself. So it's you're passing judgment on yourself, but via a third party, which is, or a second party, however you want to look at it.
That is very true, and it is a very, because like I said, I know it's in my head. It is all in my head, and it is something I've made that then almost fights against the it's almost like the two sides of your head fighting against each other. You got that part.
That part as in this that you're seeing here.
Yeah, is constantly trying to bring me down, keep me down, not.
But isn't this controlled by you? Because if you've created this to replace the bullies, this is now your new bully. This isn't your savior. This isn't your the character that you have built who was supposed to protect you. Is along the way somewhere you have felt like you don't deserve to be protected, and you've turned this character into something negative to keep you down, which you are basically have told yourself that your worth is nothing, and you've allowed this character to go from a positive into a negative, and because of that you're allowing yourself to interact with it because you're telling yourself that you're not worth it. And you're using this character as a person who is real to you. And you keep reverting back to it because you've allowed yourself to feel like you're nothing. Because everything that ever cared for you has abandoned you. And the only things that haven't abandoned you are the things you have an emotional attachment to, and that's your children and your future wife. So far. If they did leave you, go on, what are you thinking?
It's just reminded me of a weird thing of when, because my real dad used to do the breakdowns for Vauxhall Stadium, Speedworth and things like that. We would be, this was one banger meeting, we were in the infield on the trucks, and there was one of the banger boys basically came up and hit the back of the truck by accident, but my dad got out and went round the scene to make sure the driver was alright, and then another one came and hit that car, which then flung my real dad like 10 feet over. I got out of the truck and I thought he was dead. I didn't want any human contact when that happened. I went off. This was at Swaffham Raceway, which is a really small circuit, nowhere near like Foxhall Stadium, sort of like a quarter the size of it. I just literally went off and hid. And all I wanted was my pet snake at the time. I didn't want any human interaction or anything. Because all I wanted was that figure and my pet snake at the time.
You probably went down that thought because the one person that you actually care about and you idolised and looked up to by the sounds of it, it feels like that all you wanted was to be, for him to be proud of you, for him to love you the way that maybe you felt like you needed. And when you thought that he had died, which brings your connection to animals even greater, is because that was the only other thing that you loved and you felt safe with. Your dad and your animals and this character you fabricated.
But then I never remember my dad wanting to spend time with me, even from a young age.
But just your stories alone has shown me that you spent more time with your dad than you have anybody else within your family. You have a memory of your grandparents, which was great. And I'm glad that you have that memory. I wish I had memories like that. And I'm so happy for you that you had that memory with your grandparents, with Australia and things like that. But when you talk about your past, your childhood, you always talking about your dad and what you done with him. But I guess you just wanted more time and more attention.
Yeah, because I mean, he was always. I mean, we lived in a 3-bedroom terrace house, and we had some council garages, and he rented 2 of them to work out of and work on cars.
How many garages have you got?
Yeah, 2.
You've got 2 also.
But he was always found there working on cars, his friends' cars.
Where are you?
Usually either in there working on your stuff or with my animals.
Right. Can you see a pattern here?
I can. But always, I also remember when that 11 to 16, when it was just me and him, because Mum had gone.
He wasn't the same person?
No, it was always, oh, here's 100 quid, go into town with your friends. Here's some money.
Do you think that he also had been abandoned by your mother?
Yeah, and I mean, I never...
And that he was ashamed for you to see him struggle and have them emotions of abandonment because he knew that how much you looked up to him. So the best thing for him to do was to give you money, because money cures everything, right?
Yeah.
Temporarily. It's not a long-term thing, money. It's a short-term thing. So he'd give you money to get you out of the way so you don't see him. Did he drink?
No.
Around you or just?
He was teetotal since before I was born.
So he had nothing to resort back to. So the easiest thing is to get you out of the way, give you money. That would make you happy. Because, you know, when a lot of people do split up, people do put money in place to just try and think that's what's good. That's what the child wants, but it's not. We just want to be loved by and things that you're struggling with is everything that you wanted was free. You just wanted to be loved.
But then, I mean, my neighbour over the road, he was a couple of years older than me. We always hung out, played in the street and stuff. Because this was before Mum and Dad split. Because he was interested in cars, he'd always spend time with him. Because he was
And he was a friend.
Yeah, he was like the kid that you play with.
So this makes sense on why you never come out with any of us lot.
Now I'm confused.
Okay. You had a friend and you idolised your dad. You wanted his attention. He gave you, but you wanted more. Yeah? He couldn't give you more because you wasn't into the things that your dad was into.
Mm-hmm.
So then you had a friend that played with you to a certain extent, and then he found out that your friend was into cars and stuff. So then your friend is now becoming and taking more of your father's time instead of giving it to you.
Yeah, it was almost like he
traded you in.
Yeah. Same as at the time my brother was more into cars and stuff. And because he's, I want to say 13, 14 years older than me. Can't quite remember. I mean, haven't spoken to him since I was 16. Where Mum and Dad would always, I got the PlayStation or the Xbox, I got the new game. So it is that given materialistic things to keep me entertained.
Same with the money.
Mm.
So your dad has put things in place to make you what he thought made you happy, computer games, stuff that kids would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you would have been into cars, you wouldn't have probably got the PlayStation because you would have probably got overalls and spanner set and you're all that like instead, yeah?
Yeah.
So we all believe our kids deserve everything that we never had, and that's what's going to make them happy, and that's going to grow them into businessmen, and they're going to have a happy, successful life. I'm guilty of this. I give my kids everything that they want. They want computers, they get computers. They want, bikes, whatever. They get it, right? And it's something that I shouldn't have done because I feel like I might be spoiling my children. But I know this, but I've already ruined them by giving it to them. So if I take it away, they're going to hate me for it. So I don't want them to hate me. So I carry and continue to buy them, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have made a rod for my own back that way. But really, all they need is. So I make sure on top of the stuff that I'm giving them to help them, because I'm not with their mothers or anything like that. So I want them to have the same as what everyone else has got. But on top of that, I always show them how to cook.
Yeah.
I teach them stuff. If you follow my social media, which you do, I know, but if people out there, if they follow my social media, they see all the things that I do with my children.
Mm-hmm.
I give them the stuff that's free. Knowledge, love, and a lot of affection, right? Hopefully that grounds them and brings them up to be the parents that I would love them to be when they get older, right?
Yeah.
With as much mental issues less as possible due to us splitting up, So I feel like that your experience of having a friend took away your attention from the one person that you idolised, which is your dad. And because of that, you've now put a barrier up. And you try and do as less as you can. So you have people that you're friends with, but you don't let yourself become a thing where you're doing stuff with your friends just in case someone you love, maybe your missus, maybe your child, might like them and they're like, well, they don't do that with me. And then it takes you back to how it was when you were your father. You really do need to look back into your past because that's where your problems lie. I think your diagnosis, what you got, like I said earlier on, is pretty correct, to an extent, where in your presence now and your future is positive with love for your child, right? You're never going to not give that baby the attention or your other daughter the attention that you didn't have, you're lacking, right? And sometimes the lesson that you've learned from your past creates you to be a better parent, a better person, a better friend, a better lover. Yeah, but if you allow your past to affect you, you could be your child and your future wife's lesson. And that could take them away from you giving that, which then leaves you again abandoned.
Yeah.
So you need to face your past. You need to face it. You need to knock down these walls, and you need to push yourself forward before you become your future's lesson. Because by the time that you've got ready to face it, it could already be too late. So if you don't face it, you're going to be the abandonment of your family, just like they was to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, as you know, like, I've been trying to push to get the help, so that
I know funding in the mental health game is lack, and the efforts to try and help people come, but a lot of your stuff isn't psychiatry, it's inside. So you need to learn, that is, you don't need somebody to tell you, because you already know. What you need to do is start focusing on you, who you are, what you was, what's happened to you, and where you want to go positively in the future. But that ain't going to happen until you've closed the doors in the past. But for you to close them doors, you have to open them. And they go from walls to doors. Yeah? And doors you can open and shut as and when you feel comfortable. But walls you will never be able to climb over because they're as tall as you want, because you don't want them to. You need to get rid of the walls, open the door, and once you're done with the door, close it. And then you can then walk into your life feeling more positive, feeling more creative, feeling more loving, feeling good about yourself. You don't need a psychiatrist to tell you this. You don't need all of this, like, I'm waiting for the doctors to tell me more. You already know.
See, that's where, like you say, closing the doors, and it's saying that one of the ways I can close the doors is to get rid of my mum and my stepdad. And the bit that worries people is, like, just now I'll grin about it. I'll smile about it, because it is a very prominent thought.
Killing your parents.
Yeah.
Or killing your mum and your stepdad.
Yeah.
So you're telling yourself through this character
a way to close the door is to get rid of them.
But then it just sticks you in prison. So you're telling yourself some pretty, like, then that ruins your child's life, and that ruins your fiance's life, and, like, a double murder on top of strained thoughts and feelings at your age is 70 years old before you come out. How does that stop you from allowing your daughter to feel the things that you feel? How would you want to let her inherit that abandonment thought?
How do you mean?
Well, you feel abandoned because your dad's died and your mum didn't care and she left you, and your grandparents died, you know, and like if you die or go to jail for life, you're pretty much dead. So you're allowing her to be abandoned too over thoughts that you're telling yourself is the way forward when it comes to a positive future. Your positive future and outcome is you abandoning your daughter.
That's where I think about a quote that I read. Honestly, I can't remember where I read it, but it's, don't let the family you come from ruin the family you've built. And every time I get them thoughts of getting rid of them, I just stop, and I have to say that to myself.
But it's not helping. So you need another euphemism. Because if that was a thing that was going through your head that's helped you, it's failing you. Because no matter what positive you put in your life, you're refusing to let go of this fabricated character that you've put in place to help you cope with acceptance that your thoughts are out of the ordinary. And it's easy to say it's not me, it's the character.
But the character is me. But it's
you, but it's not you.
No, it is me, because it's something I've fabricated even from a young age. But
you've allowed it to be a dominant character in your life.
Yeah, and I'm now trying to work out ways of breaking that character down through
breaking down the walls.
Through breaking down the walls and finding ways of.
But you're going for direction to become a better person, to lose that character so you can be a better you, right? But you're failing yourself at a hurdle, and it's the first hurdle. Break down the walls. Because you can put a million things in place to try and lose the character, but you will not lose the character until you face up to what it is that you've had to deal with, trauma of abandonment. Because that's what it boils down to, abandonment.
Oh yeah.
And because of that, you are refusing to let go of this character because it's never abandoned you. And if you let it go, there's only you. And you don't feel like you're worth it, which leads you back to taking down the walls and finding out who you are. It all starts at the first hurdle, and that's targeting your abandonment issues.
Yeah, because I mean, it's even trying getting. I mean, I remember freaking going to the doctors at 11 about depression, but it was completely lost my train of thought.
Because you're trying to look for reason as to why you shouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Stop. Use the energy and start thinking about the reasons why you should be happy. You've got one perfect example, and that's your little daughter. You've got 2 perfect examples with your stepdaughter. And you've got 3 because you have a woman that is putting up with this and still loves you at the end of it. And if your family, not blood, yeah, well, sort of blood because it's your daughter, but
yeah,
your family that you've created and you love dearly, if that's not a strong enough reason for you to lose this fucking character, you're going to lose reality over this imaginary life that you're holding on to, this character. You're going to lose real life for fabrication. And then you really, truly believe you ain't worth it.
I mean, I was about 15, I think, when I got to the point where I thought I wasn't worth it and wasn't worth being around. Because I just remember taking a load of pills, but then I ended up throwing up.
The universe told you it wasn't your time. I feel like what you need to do is accept the love that you have in your life and understand that if your future wife was going to leave you, she would have already done it by now because you've given her plenty of reasons. But she's still here. But you don't feel like you're worth it. But in your persistence of feeling like you're not worth it, you might be making her feel like she's not worth it. And when you don't feel worth it, you either leave or you push them into suicide. It's your job to live for her. It's her job to live for you. But if she's living for you and she's living for her, what is your purpose? Now, if that doesn't tell you that you have a good woman, and when your children see you, they cuddle you, and because I've seen you walk in with your daughter, you're holding her up in the air, and she's like pride. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying kids ain't fucking annoying sometimes, because they are, but she looks at you and she loves you. You can see that. She's in your arms. If she didn't like you, she wouldn't be in your arms. You've got every reason to see that your worth is great. But your pastors are not allowing you to do it. And you're refusing to see your worth. Even when she is fighting her battle and yours at the same time. And all you're doing is fighting yours. In some format, people will say that's selfish.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. That is a format that I would say too. In other formats, is people will sit back and be like, you just need some help. But you can only get offered so much help. If you don't take it, you stop getting asked it. And from that comes the negative, the suicide. I mean, you need to start facing up to your past. You do.
I mean, I've got I've completely forgotten where the place is, but it's in town. Which are going to help me sort of go back, but a little at a time.
Therapy.
Yeah, it's Steam House Cat.
Yeah. And they're there. They're almost like you talk to them in a comfortable environment and help you. A bit like what we're doing now.
Yeah,
this is almost therapy.
You don't feel like you're in doctor's surgery or a psychiatric.
But when you go into these places and people are willing to, these people probably in this gap have come from the same position you've come from. So what you have to do is not convince them that you're fucking mad. Yeah? Because you're not, you're just sad. Not you're a saddo. You're sad because emotionally you're sad. Yeah? So these places, these therapists, they're there to help you. But if you go in to show them, oh, I'm mad, stay away from me, I deserve this, like, they're going to allow you to talk because they know they can't help.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the only person that can help you is you. These are thoughts that only you can manage. I can listen. The next person can listen. The next person can listen. The next person listen. But if all you're going to do is go in and be like, I want to kill everybody, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to not convince them that you're mad because you're already there. They know you are. You have to be free and acceptance to be able to open the chapter, to knocking the walls down and revisiting the way like what we've done today, revisiting your past, opening doors, shutting doors, and moving forward for a positive future for yourself and your family. Because you deserve it, and so do they.
I mean, that's why it's trying to redo things like where I was saying about like my after school and whatever, when my granddad would sit down and draw and paint and stuff. My daughter loves doing all that, so it's a nice way to.
And how do you feel when you're doing that?
Really happy until she tries to take the pen out of my freaking hand.
Yeah. So you have the ability to feel emotion.
It's struggling to work out what the emotion is in others, which is where it gets.
If you are saying that she really enjoys it, the emotion that she is having that you understand is enjoyment. And with enjoyment comes contentment. Yeah, you understand this, yeah?
Yeah.
So, like, being content is when you're riding your bike, you feel content when you're riding your bike. That's an emotion that you attach yourself to. The emotion that you're having struggling with is your past emotion. Yeah? If someone falls over and they've hurt themselves, you know that they're hurt. Whether you give a fuck or not, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, like, if I see someone fall over, because a part of me is a caring and considerate person, I will communicate with them with an understanding that I know that they're in pain and they should stay still, and I know what I've got to do. I've got to call an ambulance if it's that bad, right? But there is sides of me that's like, you know,
just carry on and leave them.
But like, we have the ability to care for those that we care about, and we have the ability to switch off against the people that we don't. Almost, if you've hurt yourself, haha, you little fucker, you deserve that. So maybe the people that you're having the trouble of understanding the emotion to that is because maybe you do want them to hurt themselves, and maybe you do want them to think. But to me, that isn't like such a bad thought. That's me. Maybe that's you. Like, that's karma. Like, yeah, you hurt yourself. Let's say me. That's what you get for being a little shit earlier on. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm just saying, just thinking out loud, dude. I'm always going to be here for you and the future. And I say this with all of my guests because I'm connected to each and every person that I interview and help. Yeah. And you know what kind of person I am, and you know that I'll be there. I mean, we train together in the mornings. I help you with getting you to the gym.
What, since 2009 I've been coming in your shop?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, whenever you've spoken, I've seen your diary and it's very dark, and you know, it's your thoughts in a latter of this is how I'm feeling. Again, you need to break that down. We know where it's come from. It's come from your past. Don't let your past affect your future by locking your past away. You need to push forward for a positive. There is people out there that you're going to see. My advice to you on this front, if you do want to be cured, not cured where you forgive and forget everything, just you'll learn to live in the pain in a positive way and understand your inner love for yourself. And you will bypass all of that negativity because you have to learn how to love yourself. And you can't do that if you just want to tell everybody that you're crazy and you want everybody to think you're crazy and you want everybody to see this character as the reason your force and drive into protecting yourself from being hurt or abandoned again. But if you continue this path of not tracing back your past, you will lose your future. And I don't mean in death. I mean, you will inherit this onto your children. You will inherit this into your fiance, and she would move on. If she moves on from you to another relationship, yeah, you will put her in fear of the next person. So she will fear falling in love again. And your child will grow up thinking this is normal.
Yeah.
Is this what you want?
No, that'd be
Don't look at the character in the corner.
That'd be the last thing.
Waiting for the advice that's the opposite to what you don't deserve. Like, you know, you're looking for answers in, you know, the answer. The character that's talking to you is not going to tell you the answer. It's going to tell you the problem. You need to stop looking at the problem and start working. Well, look at the problem, but start working on the positive of the problem instead of satanic thoughts of like everyone needs to die, you know, because there's loads of people I look at and I think, fucking hell, you could do with dying. Do you know what I mean? But like deep down, I know that a piece of me in me with my problem is a loving person. Another side of me is many other people, but that's because, you know, I understand what is my triggers. I understand my diagnosis. I understand my I don't even know what to call it, but skits. I understand skits, yeah? So my burden. Yeah, I understand my burden. That's what I was looking for that for. So I understand my burden. But you need to understand yours. You know what you need to do. You know what you have to do. And you know what you need to do so your next generation doesn't feel this burden and adopt it.
Yeah, the last... You don't want to keep repeating that same cycle over and over.
And only you can break that cycle. So from this point on, we're going to get to a point where we're going to talk more whilst we're training in the morning to help you. Yeah, because you'll have help there. Obviously, the gym will help you because that's what we do. We're there to train to try and lose that aggression throughout a day for yourself and for me.
Yeah, I will say, since going, it has allowed me to, like, throughout the day, be more focused.
Gym exercise, whether it's running, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's yoga, whether it's just meditation, yeah, anything physical like that towards the brain and body is a positive move to a better you.
I mean, I found it a lot easier to focus.
Exactly that.
Especially like when I've been doing your stuff, instead of before it'd be, oh, just stop, have a fag and scroll through.
Yeah.
It's
positive mind, positive body, positive future. It's all about creating a confident you and loving yourself. Gym will not only help you with your aggression, it also will help with your mind, and it also makes you look better. And because of that, you become more confident. You start to love yourself a little bit more. You know, and this is where we need to be. You go to this cafe and you talk to these people, they're going to help you too. So you're constantly getting help. Listen to your future wife, because she is a woman that is ready to stand by you no matter what, because she's proven that already years down the line, a child down the line. She's also allowed you into her child's life, which is something big for her also. Yeah. You all might not see eye to eye sometimes, but that's just life.
Yeah. Two individual people.
It's just life, man. If we were all made to be the same, we'd be boring and we wouldn't need each other. But two opposites attract. Two people that don't agree all the time doesn't mean it's not right. It just means it's perfect. It could be. So, dude, learn to love yourself. Learn to break down these walls. I'm going to be there every step of the way. We are at 5 o'clock in the morning in the gym. And we're going to carry on pushing for this positive. And, you know, there's psychiatrists and tablets and things like that are not going to be able to, they're going to like shadow what you really need to do. And you already know what you need to do. You need to lose this character. You need to, or keep the character, but just make the character more positive. If you don't want to lose it, recreate another character that's more powerful, more Lord of the Rings with a sword. Slay this motherfucker and just like replace it. Or have them both there. You know what I mean? And just create this new you, because you need to know that you're not abandoned. I've been your friend for years, despite anything that's ever like been put in your way. I've always been there. Your wife has always been there. You've got a group around you that accept you for what you are. Yeah, we all want the best for you, and we're all going to help you along the way. Anything you want to say to anyone out there that is going through a very similar thing to you?
I suppose don't listen to the stigma. Stop letting there be a stigma around mental health.
Absolutely.
Especially in men. I mean, obviously men and women get it, but men are always, because we tend to just crack on and earn our money, look after our families, we don't tend to ask for help. Which,
speak.
As I've gotten older.
Yeah, speak. That's what you do. Speak out loud. That's the important. You know, if there's someone out there that you know, struggling, go and ask them if they're okay. You know, go and see, because you might be in pain, but your pain could help somebody else. And your hello, how are you doing, could help someone. So I absolutely agree on that. Reba, Kevin, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you coming on. I know that you're in mid-diagnosis now, and I know that this will help a lot of people, and I know that this will also save people's lives. So I appreciate and I respect you coming on here, and your dad would be proud. And if your mum didn't like you, she wouldn't have you at hers and give you what she gives you. So all I'm saying is, despite the past, and the I want to kill yous and stuff like that, just see it for what it is. Your mum might have left in the past, but that's not her now, and she's been there in your future up till today. Yeah? You might not have the best relationship, but bro, you're living at a house. Yeah? You've been given like a house at the end of the garden. You've been given the whole garage to do all the things that you want to do. And she allows you to put things like my horse box on your driveway and build stuff. And, you know, you're as much as you feel like you hate your mum for abandoning you, bro, she's the only one that's still there. You would be homeless if it wasn't for her.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do understand.
Maybe your path to a positive future is facing the past and rebuilding a relationship with your mum. Because, dude, I know your mum on a personal. I know you on a personal. And if your mum didn't care, you wouldn't be under her feet. You're a full-grown man. So just allow a bridge to be built with your mum and start working on not forgiveness, a new relationship. Yeah?
Yeah.
Think about it. We're going to revisit this. We're going to let this work out for itself. It might be next year, it might be a couple of years, but I want to revisit this. See how you're getting on. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah? Thanks very much, brother. Give me some love.